Last night, Tony Ferguson took on Beneil Dariush in the co-main event of UFC 262, Oliveira versus Chandler, and I'm upset. I'm really upset. It was heartbreaking. Everybody who was on my fight companion last night, the few of you that were there, it was really good having you all there, but I was upset. I thought, even I was so hyped, I had goosebumps. Tony was walking to the cage, his disco music started playing, he was doing all this and all of his dancing and stuff, and I was so hyped. Then when he got into the cage, he was spitting on the cage and he was kicking the cage. He looked like he was ready, and then goes out there, and in my opinion, he looked fragile. He looked frail. In my opinion, he looked a bit fragile. He was getting outstruck by Beneil, a bit sloppy, but it was good. Taken down, held down. I think Beneil Dariush had 12 minutes of control time on top throughout the 15-minute fight. It's shit because with Ferguson now, it's I can't see him winning against anybody. I think Islam Makhachev takes him down and probably chokes him out, something like that. There's now this, in my opinion, right? Charles the Bronx Oliveira is everything we thought Tony Ferguson was. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Tony Ferguson is incredible, he's tough, and he had his leg torn apart, you know what I mean, pretty much, and he's still stuck in there, so fair play to the man. I thought he'd go out there, win 29-28, and I put a few quid on him knocking Beneil out, just because I thought he was in the right mindset, but he couldn't. I don't really know what to say. He just looked frail. It's a young man's game, and I think, for example, let's say it was a younger Tony Ferguson, a 30-year-old Tony Ferguson, or 34-year-old Tony Ferguson, even just a few years younger. In some of those positions, he would have had the more young man strength to be able to the testosterone to be able to get out of some of those situations, get out of some of those scrambles. But I just didn't see it. I just didn't see the. There's no quitting Tony Ferguson. He's one of the toughest men on the planet. But I just didn't see the he didn't look like an athlete anymore. You know what I mean? He didn't look like an athlete. And I mean, that people are gonna be like, what? But he was in a cage fight, and he's an athlete. But he didn't look like a primed, conditioned, strong, ready to go athlete. I mean, he was ready to go, but in my opinion, he just didn't have the. I don't want to say he didn't have the strength to get up, because he did, but maybe not the explosiveness anymore. Or that it's a young man's game, and you could even tell since the Justin Gaethje fight, he is a bit more weird about taking shots, because Beneil was landing, and he was kind of whoa. Then he was recentering, taken down again, and just held down, and it's the worst way he could have lost, because if he had went to war and lost, that's fair enough, you know what I mean, but it's the fact he was just held down and dominated for 3 rounds, that hurts, that really stings a little bit. But, I feel, I don't know what's next. In my initial video, I said he has to beat Beneil Dariush, and he didn't. He couldn't. He got dominated by the number 9th ranked guy. So I'm thinking maybe give him Michael Chandler next, headlining a fight night. Ferguson versus Chandler. Ferguson's probably going to now be number 8? Number 6 maybe? Probably stays around the same spot. Ferguson versus Michael Chandler, headlining a fight night. Winner of that takes on somebody else, then I don't know. Get Ferguson right back in the mix, you know what I mean? It's hard to give Ferguson a title shot at all after being dominated twice. You know what I mean? So if Tony Ferguson fights Michael Chandler next, maybe Beneil Dariush fights Chandler, I don't know. I couldn't really think to tell you right now, but I'm really upset. That really hurt. See, last night on stream, I was then I was I don't even care about the main event. I was in a bit of a mood. Then the main event was really good, so I was hyped, and it's a bitter pill to swallow, because I'm a fan of Tony Ferguson. I love the guy. He's weird. He's the type of guy that I could just imagine him sitting on his phone typing with his elbow. You know what I mean? He's that type of guy. I actually have a list on my phone. Let me get this up for you. I took a screenshot of it. It's quite funny, this little list. When Tony left home as a teenager, he turned to his father and said, "You are the man of the house now." If you make Hulk angry, he turns into Tony Ferguson. Tony is the type of guy to text with his elbows. Tony is the type of guy that decides if the referee can continue the fight. Tony Darce chokes himself before he goes to sleep at night. Tony is the type of guy to lick his fingers before turning his page on his iPad. Tony said, "Hold on, I'm talking, brother," in response to his son's first words. Tony Ferguson hires bodyguards to protect them. Tony is the type of guy to flush his toilet with a spinning elbow. Like, look, I love him. I mean, there's no other athlete, or like, you know, whenever like trying to decrypt one of Tony Ferguson's like Instagram posts is like Arabic or something. You know what I mean? It's mad, but I mean, that's my initial thoughts, my initial reaction. I'm a bit sad, but we'll see where he goes from here. You know, he could come back, but it is a young man's game. You know what I mean? And you know, he needs to have somebody like Poirier or McGregor as champ to get a title shot, I think, because I mean he hasn't fought either of them. I don't know. God. But I'm so depressed because it's like I wish he won that fight. But it's not even the fact that I wish he won, it's the way he lost that's just killing me on the inside. It's really annoying me. Really upsetting, really sad. But, you know, he's just doing his thing. He's going to be back. I reckon he'll be back. Fair play to Tony Ferguson for getting in there again. He'll be back. Talked a lot of shit before the fight. Didn't pay off. That's the fight game. Don't forget to subscribe. Tune in to my next fight companion. Thanks, boys.